Hello, Michael Spicer here again, going for another walk. How are we today? Walking up to the lake. What I'll do is I'll probably do a little loop of the lake. That'll be nice, won't it? Nothing like a calm, still lake on a slightly nippy November morning. Last night I did my first ever live stream. Seemed to go quite well. Hello, sorry, I just thought I'd jump in here and say that although I said last night I did a live stream, I actually meant Thursday night, because although it's last night for me, it's not last night for you. Thank you. And I've just come back from my walk. It's a good walk that you're about to watch, by the way. Although my jeans are covered in mud now, because at one point I talk about how nice it is to walk through mud and make squelchy noises. And I didn't realise that I ruined my jeans. Anyway, enjoy. Thanks, bye. I think the one problem is that I just couldn't keep up with the questions. And so a lot of questions went unanswered. And if you are one of those people whose question went unanswered, then I'm very sorry about that. I will try to do better in terms of... I suppose that's why people have mods, isn't it? I hear streamers talking about mods, and I've never really fully understood what mods are, but I suppose that's what a mod is. Not only to moderate the chat discussion and all of that sort of thing, but perhaps also to alert me to certain things going on, because I'm too focused on the actual stream. It was good to do nonetheless. And I found out that people were able to give me money, which is also a nice surprise. I mean, I've monetized my YouTube channel, but I didn't realise that that covered super chats. So people were throwing me a few bob here and there, which is unexpected but delightful. Anyway, here we are. Just going to do a loop of this pretty little lake. Little fishing lake. There are little platforms for the anglers here. No anglers this morning though. I don't know about fishing season or anything like that. I don't know whether it is. I don't know whether there is such a thing as fishing season, but maybe it's not fishing season. I don't know. So when I worked 5 minutes from here, I used to come down here at lunchtime and sit and have some sandwiches and what have you. Also, this is actually the place where I did my first ever viral sketch. I think I sat here. I'm pretty sure I sat here. There's no bench here now. It's all kind of eroded, but I sat here and did a sketch called Single Man on E-Harmony. It's still on my YouTube channel, and I posted that on my very, very average HTC mobile phone, I think. So the quality is appalling compared to now. But I still put it up there, and it went viral that afternoon. I posted it within my lunch break, and it went viral in the afternoon as I was doing my work, which was very distracting. But that was when I realised that I could actually make an impact using Twitter and YouTube. And yeah, so that happened right here back in, I would say, 2010/11. So a fair old while ago now. Anyway, come out from the lake and back on the footpath. Very mixed sort of a day. It's got that sort of liquidy sunshine thing. Quite pleasant, really. December soon, but still haven't felt the need to get out the big winter coat. I did a private walk on my Patreon page yesterday, and I passed this bit and realised that this field has a curve, so it looks a lot like that Microsoft desktop, doesn't it? Just an observation. Yes, I did do a private walk on my Patreon page because why not, really? I thought, well, if I'm doing lots and lots of walks, I might as well slip one into Patreon behind a paywall, and if people want to chuck £1, they can watch me talk about various topics. There is an element of unpleasantness about all this, isn't there? Paying for art, but artists have to live, don't they? And I certainly do. And if the opportunity arises whereby I can generate a bit of income this side of Christmas, then I'm afraid I'm going to have to take it. But it's always been a little bit of a grey area for me. Earning money from art. There have been moments in the past where I've been offered commercials. More often than not, I've turned them down because it feels uncomfortable. I was offered to do something in Dubai, of all places. Some sort of Dubai tourist thing. Oh God, I mean, can you imagine? The problem with writing so much material that's political is as soon as you do an advert, it compromises you. So I suppose that's the main thing. You know, I did do a Sainsbury's commercial, but that was oh my God, that was pre-YouTube, I think. It was a very long time ago, 2009, something like that. Might have even been earlier than that. And that was just me as a jobbing actor, needing the work. But if I was offered Sainsbury's now, I'd have to say no. I'd have to say no. Because if you regularly attack billionaires, as I do, you can't then go and work for one. Having said that, I'm doing this on YouTube. So it's inescapable in some way, isn't it? It's inescapable. Artists have to compromise in some way, shape or form in order to survive. I think that's the only conclusion you can make. I don't necessarily agree with very rich actors / comedians / celebrities doing adverts in order to make more money, because how much money do you need? That's an argument. But in terms of just trying to make a living, then yes, we all have to sort of compromise to some extent. But you know, YouTube is connected to Google, and Google is a deeply sinister company that's just rolled out its new version of AI, which has signalled the end of 6 fingers on each hand, backgrounds that make no sense, slightly orangey tinge to the photo, all of these sort of early warning signs of AI. They've gone now, thanks to this Google rollout, where it's almost impossible to detect. You know, I've already seen a few TikToks this morning saying we're cooked, and how we really need to judge every image we see on the internet now as being possibly AI. My answer to that would be, is there any chance we could just watermark every AI image? Can we pass a law where every AI image is watermarked or has some sort of caption at the bottom? And if it doesn't, then you have to pay a fine or something? I'm just spitballing here, but I feel like something needs to be done. I don't know really. I suppose we just have to be far more cynical about everything we see on the internet. Far more cynical. Don't just immediately assume. Simple as that. Worrying, I suppose. Worrying, but as I've said in my previous walk, if you want to make sure that something's not AI, go for a walk. Can you hear the squelch? That's not AI. That's mud on my Wellington boots. There's a current trend going around of people just doing nothing for 5 minutes, recording themselves doing nothing for 5 minutes. And there'll be a clock in the background, and they'll speed up the footage so it's only like 30 seconds or whatever, but the clock goes really fast, and they kind of like scratching and looking out the window, because they are just training themselves not to do anything, to just sit and do nothing, just to think, to just be alone with your thoughts. And it seems really healthy to me. I have tried it. What I do is I make a cup of coffee, and then I'll just sit at my desk with that cup of coffee. I won't look at my laptop or my phone. I'll just sit with my cup of coffee. Sometimes I can just stare into the bubbles floating on the top, and suddenly my mind's wandering to lots of other things that I wouldn't have ordinarily thought about at that particular moment. So it's a really interesting exercise. It's kind of, you feel really weird. You feel like a weirdo because you're just sitting doing nothing. But we really need to do that. We really need to do that. But it's just so odd to... It's like something like I'm walking... I do this loop every day, okay? And I don't meet anyone else who's by themselves. I always meet people who are walking their dog. There's a reason for it. There's a reason why people do a loop of this field. It's to walk their dog, not to go for an early morning constitutional like me. And I can walk around this field and bump into people. Like I bumped into a guy just now, actually, but I cut it out. And I feel weird because I don't have a dog. It's like, what's he walking around for with no purpose? But that's me in my head. I'm projecting. I'm thinking that people are judging me when they probably couldn't give a toss. In fact, I know they couldn't give a toss. So it's you need to get through that barrier of, is what I'm doing weird? And what constitutes being weird? So it's an interesting philosophical conundrum, really. What is weirdness? What is it to be a weirdo? Are you a weirdo? Take this test. That's what you get at the bottom of websites. You know how websites are just completely... they're just like a mangled mess of ads and pop-ups and agree to accept cookies and sign up to our newsletter, and you can't actually see the thing that you want. I think websites are dying like social media is dying, because Google now says, don't visit that website, just look at this AI summary. And for just ease and convenience, you go, oh, right, okay. And you don't visit any of the websites that you wanted to. Because you know also that if you were to visit those websites, you wouldn't find the bit you wanted, and you'd have to click close on at least 5 boxes, pop-ups, menus, and all other things. So it's interesting, like when you go to like the worst is, I think, local news websites, local newspaper websites, the Something Herald, the Something Express, and you just know you're going to get absolutely blitzed with clickbait horror. But you visit those websites and the article is minute, and the pictures are massive, and then everything else is advertising and those strange articles that say things like, this woman from your area is making a fortune every week from her own private dental practice. Dentists hate her because she's come up with some teeth whitening miracle or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And then it will just be like, you won't believe what this celebrity looks like now. Yes, they look a bit older. Who'd have thought? So that's the sort of thing, isn't it? And now we get, are you a genius? Take this test. Like there's a word puzzle game that my son goes on every day, and when he finishes it, when he completes the puzzle, this massive pop-up comes up of an AI-generated image of Stephen Hawking, and it says, take this test and avoid getting dementia. I mean, how utterly repugnant, inappropriate, and callous is that? But that's where we are now, isn't it? That's where we are. We can't do anything about it. You can't press the reset button. It's just where we are. Oh dear. You know what? The urge to pull the plug out the back of your head in Matrix style is so heavy these days. It's so tempting. We are coming up to the chairs soon, so please stay tuned for chair content. I've been watching Pluribus, like most people have, I guess. Really enjoying it. It seems like a very, very, very long episode of The Twilight Zone. And part of me thinks, would I enjoy this more if it was a 50-minute episode of The Twilight Zone written by Rod Serling? Maybe. Because it does seem to be stretched out. And a lot of ideas suffer from being TV series rather than films. That's just an opinion. Because you get like baggy episodes, don't you? You always get baggy episodes, and you just think, could this be a film? Like Severance. I'm sure Severance would have made an incredible film. It would have been a masterpiece. But what it ended up being was a masterpiece first season, followed by a very baggy, wandering, unsure second season. Again, just my opinion. So as you can tell, we're by the motorway, and I apologise for the noise, but if you want the chairs, you have to put up with the noise. Yeah, so the reason I mentioned Pluribus was because it felt like there was a connection there with what I've been talking about, which is just this feeling sometimes like that we're in a zombie film. We're surrounded by advertising, AI, spam bots. Nothing's real. But they're all trying to manipulate us into thinking a certain way. And that's what Carol's experiencing in Pluribus. She can't talk to anyone anymore. In the same way that we don't feel like we can really make a connection online anymore. Maybe that's what Vince Gilligan was aiming for when he set this story out. I mean, there's more social commentary in this, I think, than anything else he's written. It really feels like that. But of course, he has to play the game like everyone else, which is why he's now an incredibly successful multi-millionaire thanks to Apple, who are, a problematic company. Like all companies, all big companies with a billionaire CEO are problematic. Anyway, given that the rest of my journey is going to be nothing but pure motorway noise, I'll say goodbye now. Thank you very much for joining me on my walk. See you again for more walks, and see you again for another live stream Thursday at 8. Hopefully I'll do it every Thursday at 8. Thank you very much. Goodbye.